In the dim glow of a Marine Corps hangar-turned battlefield, where the air hangs heavy with the scent of sweat and betrayal, Sergeant Elena Vargas, America's deadliest unsung hero, stands unbreakable, her fists clenched, ready to turn 27 elite warriors into a lesson they'll never forget. If you love your mom and dad, hit that subscribe button and show some love to her. The massive doors of the Quantico training facility groaned open under the harsh Virginia sun, admitting a figure that cut through the assembled Marines like a knife through fog. Sergeant Elena Vargas, her blonde hair tied back in a no-nonsense ponytail, strode in with the confidence of someone who'd stared down death in the deserts of Iraq and the mountains of Afghanistan. At 34, she was a legend in whispers, recipient of the Navy Cross for single-handedly holding off an ambush in Fallujah, where she dragged 3 wounded comrades to safety under relentless fire. But today, she wasn't here for glory. She was here because Colonel Harlan Thorpe, a grizzled veteran with a chest full of medals and a grudge against women in combat, had summoned her for what he called a reality check. Thorpe believed the Corps had gone soft, integrating females into elite units, and he intended to prove it by pitting Elena against his hand-picked squad of 27 Marines, all men, all combat-tested, from SEAL dropouts to Ranger rejects who'd clawed their way to the top. Vargas, Thorpe barked from his perch on the observation deck, his voice echoing off the concrete walls lined with faded American flags and motivational posters. You think you're special? These boys will show you what real Marines are made of. Elena's blue eyes, sharp as shrapnel, met his without flinching. I warned you, Colonel. I'm a Marine combat master. Don't make me prove it the hard way. The squad formed up in the center of the vast hangar, its floor covered in worn mats that had absorbed the blood, sweat, and tears of countless drills. They were a diverse bunch: Private Ramirez from the barrios of Los Angeles, built like a tank with tattoos snaking up his arms; Corporal Jenkins, a lanky sharpshooter from rural Alabama whose drawl masked a killer instinct; Sergeant Major Kane, the group's unofficial leader, a hulking figure from Chicago's mean streets who'd survived 3 tours in Syria. They encircled her slowly, smirks playing on their lips, underestimating the 5 feet 8 inches woman in fatigues as just another quota fill. Elena stood at the ready, her stance low and balanced, drawing on years of Krav Maga, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and the brutal hand-to-hand combat training that had turned her into a weapon. Last chance, she said calmly, her voice steady amid the growing tension. Walk away now. Laughter rippled through the ranks. Kane stepped forward first, cracking his knuckles. Lady, this ain't the movies. We're gonna send you back to the kitchen. The circle tightened, the air thick with anticipation. Thorpe leaned over the railing, a smug grin on his face, signaling the start. In a blur that defied human speed, it began. Kane lunged with a haymaker punch aimed at her jaw, but Elena sidestepped effortlessly, her elbow smashing into his solar plexus with the force of a sledgehammer. He doubled over, gasping, as she followed with a knee to his chin, sending him sprawling. 2 more charged from her flanks, Ramirez with a bear hug attempt, Jenkins aiming a kick at her knees. She dropped low, sweeping Ramirez's legs out from under him while grabbing Jenkins' ankle mid-kick, twisting it until he screamed and fell. The hangar erupted in shouts, the remaining 24 surging forward like a wave. Elena moved like a ghost, her training kicking in, parry, strike, evade. She disarmed one Marine of his training baton, using it to crack another's ribs. Blood began to flow, not fatal, but enough to paint the mats red. Thorpe's grin faded as he watched his unbeatable squad falter. But Elena wasn't just fighting, she was analyzing, remembering faces from dossiers she'd secretly reviewed the night before. Among them was Private Ellis, a quiet kid from Texas with a shady past, rumors of insubordination, possible ties to a rival unit's sabotage. As the brawl intensified, Elena's mind flashed back to her childhood in a small Texas town, where her father, a Vietnam vet crippled by Agent Orange, taught her to fight dirty against the bullies who mocked his disability. Never back down, Ellie, he'd say, his voice raspy from years of pain. Those lessons forged her iron will, leading her to enlist at 18, rising through the ranks despite the glass ceiling. In Afghanistan, she'd lost her best friend to an IED, vowing never to let arrogance cost lives again. Back in the present, the circle had broken into chaos. 10 down, 17 to go. One Marine, Corporal Hale from New York, pulled a hidden blade, real steel, not training gear, slashing at her midsection. Elena dodged, her shirt tearing, a shallow cut drawing blood. "Cheater," she muttered, disarming him with a wrist lock that snapped bone. But this was the first twist, the knife wasn't random. As Hale writhed, Elena spotted a tattoo on his arm, a symbol matching one from classified intel on a black market arms ring infiltrating the core. The fight dragged on, minutes feeling like hours. Elena's breaths came ragged, her muscles screaming, but she pressed on. Flashback to her last mission, undercover in Syria, posing as an aid worker to extract a high-value target. Betrayed by a double agent, she'd fought off 6 assailants in a marketplace, emerging scarred but victorious. That betrayal fueled her now. Another twist unfolded as Kane, recovering from his initial takedown, rallied a subgroup. "Flank her," he yelled. But Elena anticipated it, using the hangar's environment, grabbing a loose chain from the wall to whip across their shins, toppling 3 at once. Bodies piled up, groans filling the air. Thorpe descended the stairs, his face ashen. "Enough," he shouted, but it was too late. In 2 blistering seconds, Elena unleashed a flurry, a roundhouse kick felling 2, a chokehold on another, her boot pinning Kane's throat. Dead silence fell over the hangar. 27 Marines lay defeated, some unconscious, others clutching wounds, the floor a tapestry of humiliation. Thorpe approached, his dress blues pristine amid the carnage. "What, how?" Elena wiped blood from her lip, her eyes locking on his. "I told you. I'm a Marine combat master." But the real drama was just beginning. As medics rushed in, Elena knelt by Hale, the knife wielder, prying an encrypted phone from his pocket. A quick glance revealed texts to an unknown contact: "Vargas is here. Proceed with Phase 2. Thorpe's eyes widened. "What is this?" Elena stood, handing him the phone. "Your squad has a traitor. Hale's been selling secrets. I suspected it when I saw his file, that's why I requested this demo. It was a trap for him." Thorpe stammered, the revelation hitting like a grenade. Hale wasn't just cheating, he was part of a larger conspiracy involving corrupt officers skimming weapons for the black market. Elena had been tipped off by an old contact in intelligence, using this fight as cover to expose him without alerting the ring. The aftermath unfolded in waves. Thorpe, humbled, recommended Elena for promotion, but she declined, preferring the shadows. Flashbacks revealed her own secret: she'd been diagnosed with PTSD after Syria, fighting inner demons as fiercely as external ones. The twist deepened when investigators raided Hale's quarters, finding documents implicating Thorpe's own aide, Lieutenant Graves, as the ringleader. Graves had orchestrated the fight to eliminate Elena, knowing she was onto them. In a climactic confrontation, Elena tracked Graves to a warehouse off base, engaging in a one-on-one duel that mirrored the hangar brawl but with higher stakes, guns drawn, shadows dancing under flickering lights. Graves monologued about greed and power, but Elena silenced him with a takedown that led to his arrest. Months later, Elena stood on a podium at a classified ceremony, receiving the Distinguished Service Medal. The 27 Marines, now recovered and reformed, saluted her, Kane even apologizing, admitting she'd earned their respect. But Elena's journey wasn't over. A new mission loomed, infiltrating a cartel using ex-military for enforcement. As she boarded a plane to Mexico, her father's words echoed, "Never back down." The story of the hangar fight became legend, whispered in barracks across the nation, inspiring a new generation of warriors. Elena Vargas, the unbreakable Marine, proved that true strength lies not in numbers, but in unyielding resolve. Where in the country are you watching from? Drop it in the comments.